All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well, and peace and salutation unto the hopeful elect, the 1/3 of Yasha Allah, upholding the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of their ability. Peace and salutation. This is the brother Bakwasha. So I want to go into this quick lesson, going into how normal in America is broke, and it's just a sign of the times. It's just a sign of prophecy, because these things were spoken of before time, and now seeing those things manifest themselves, it's just a sign that we're at the end. It's a sign that Babylon is losing steam. It's no longer that golden cup, and that the pride of this place is ceasing. Because when people are up, as far as financially, right? There's all this great pride, right? But then when they don't have any money and the economy is bad, people are not joyous anymore. And so I'm gonna play a couple videos, and Lord will, some precepts, and Lord will, this will be edifying for the elect.
Normal in America is broke. 78% of Americans have too much month left at the end of the money. They spend everything they make and then some every month. That's 8 out of 10 houses on your street are broke. You ever drive down a middle-class street and they got upper-class cars in the driveway? Tells you there's a problem. You can just count the payments is what you're doing. Normal in America.
So, there it is. 78% of the people, here in this society have more month than money. And so once again, it just shows that America, that used to be this vast global empire, right, off of theft and murder and crimes, right, all of that is coming to a screeching halt, man. That's why this whole digital industry has been created. The technocracy has been kind of almost like a bridge, okay, to Babylon sustaining itself. But this place cannot be healed, man. It's bruised, and the wound that Yahweh Shai has given it, man, it is to be destroyed. Okay, and so let's bring out this first scripture. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 8 verse 6. Ecclesiastes chapter 8 verse 6. It says, "Because to every purpose there is time and judgment. Therefore, the misery of man is great upon him." Okay. And so that's what's happening. Just miseries. More and more miseries are coming to Babylon, aka America. Just like I'm gonna play here in this video. You got people that worked hard, got degrees. You got people that pay ridiculous amounts of mortgages, right? But the time and the judgment of Babylon, aka America, is to be judged. So there's gonna be more and more miseries that are coming upon this place. Matter of fact, let's grab this. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 8 and verse 50. It says, "For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride." Now, one of those ways in which they've walked in great pride is they've rejected Yahweh Shai, okay? And they've accepted Caesar Borgia. They've accepted the shadow of Egypt, and that's why scripture says the trust in the shadow of Egypt shall be your shame. And that's what we're seeing, okay? America was Babylon, aka America, was never set up to rule forever. It's just a temporal kingdom, and now people are starting to realize that the ruler of this temporal kingdom has set them up to really be destroyed, and that is a form of pride, because they believed in their jobs, they believed in this society, this corporation, and the corporation is turning their back on them. It was never for Israelites, number one, but it was never set up to continue forever. Okay, let's bring this out, because when you go into that word here, misery, in Ecclesiastes chapter 8 verse 6, it says, "Because to every purpose there is time and judgment, therefore the misery of man is great upon him." And so when you get into that word here, misery,
Strong's H 7451, Ra, Ra. And second entry, Ra, Ra. And third entry, Ra'ah, Ra'ah.
And it goes into bad, evil, okay? Unhappiness, okay? Worse, what does the scripture say? Evil men and seducers shall wax what? Worse and worse? Because that's what's happening, okay? This is 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 13. But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. Believing in Babylon, aka America, that you're going to have a sustainable life here is incorrect. Okay, this is a trap, man. This is the land of our captivity. But these Babylonians are now starting to feel it as well. Okay, so it talks about going back to the word there, misery. Okay, it says displeasing, worse than worst. Okay, sad, unhappy. Okay, it says wicked ethically. Okay, misery, injury, calamity. Okay, scripture talks about that because of unrighteous dealings and riches gotten by deceit. That's exactly what's happening, man. That these Babylonians have been duped, okay, to believe that Babylon was going to be a kingdom or sit as a queen forever. Okay,
is broke. 78% of Americans have too much month left at the end of the money. They spend everything they make and then some every month. That's 8 out of 10 houses on your street are broke. You ever drive down a middle-class street and they got upper-class cars in the driveway? Tells you there's a problem. You can just count the payments is what you're doing.
Exactly. So let's bring this out real quick. Let's play this video first.
Of living my life in survival mode because despite having 2 college degrees and making close to $80,000 a year, I still cannot keep up with the cost of living. I still cannot afford all of my bills every month and have to live paycheck to paycheck. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. I am sacrificing my mental health, my time, and my energy to take care of people in their most vulnerable moments, and a lot of the time they do not make it. At the very least, I should be able to pay my bills. And for anyone who's thinking, oh, well, you shouldn't have chose that job, somebody has to do it. And you know damn well, if your loved one was critically ill, you would want somebody to take care of them, right?
So point being here is, this is Isaiah chapter 32, verse 12. Let's start at verse 10. Many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women, for the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come. Tremble, ye women that are at ease, be troubled, ye careless ones. Strip you and make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins. Okay, because most women have had plenty of opportunities to be with a Israelite man, okay, a man of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and they rejected it. Okay, they wanted to get these multiple degrees. I think that's the first thing she's talked about.
Living my life in survival mode because despite having 2 college degrees and
so multiple degrees, so you took your time and you invested your time in the Esau system, okay, instead of finding a man of the Lord. Well, let's read on. It says, tremble, ye women that are at ease, be troubled, ye careless ones, strip you and make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins. They shall lament for the teats, for the pleasant fields, for the fruitful vine. You see, because Babylon, aka America, used to be a vine and a field and a teat, okay, for women. But it's no longer that, okay? Those degrees mean nothing any longer. These jobs mean nothing any longer. Okay, the true value will be a man of the Lord, of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Matter of fact, let's This is Isaiah 32 and 2. It says, and a man shall be as a hiding place from the wind. Now, on the optics, it doesn't look like she has a man. Because if so, she wouldn't be complaining to YouTube. She would be talking to her man about this situation, right? So what does it say? And a man shall be as a hiding place from the wind and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. So once again, the reason why you're lamenting, okay, or you're sorrowful, or you have misery, okay, is because those teats, those pleasant feels, when you go into that word teat, I believe it goes into the kind of like breast or nutrition, something along those lines.
Strong's H 7699. Shad. Shad.
It says the breast of a woman, the pap, the teat, right? And so when those provisions are no longer there, you got sackcloth upon your loins, right? Because you don't have any money, okay? And all of those things that you once had are no longer available to you, because those things that you thought they were riches were really just cankered gold and silver, okay? It was gold plated, all right? And that's the idea of Babylon, aka America. It's gold plated rust, all right? That's why normal is being broke, all right? Let's play this next one, because this is pretty much all I had.
Shop select blinds.
And the reason why these stories are so pivotal is because most of them are coming from women, okay? Most of them coming from these whores of Babylon, okay? Because that's what Babylon was built for. Babylon was built for women, okay? To the Queen of Heaven spirit that's here. Everything has been catered to women. Well, no longer, okay? This is Isaiah chapter 24, verse 4. It says, the earth mourneth and faded away. The world languisheth and faded away. The hardy people of the earth do languish. And when you get into that word here, languish, okay, because that's exactly what's going on, man. A whole bunch of sighing and crying and belly aching, right?
Strong's H 535. Amal. Gesenius lexicon. Amal. Or Amael.
It says to be weak, to droop, to languish, to be exhausted. Okay, and that's exactly what you're about to hear. Is these people are exhausted from having to work. Women, number one, okay, because a woman is supposed to be working for her man. All right, but because they chose to work for Esau, they're exhausted. Okay, and then they're trying to fight, for more rights and more money in the system that wasn't built for them to actually be a part of. Okay, they've been forced into these jobs, and instead of taking the covering of a man, of a man of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. So who's gonna have pity for you? Okay, not the men of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. It says to be weak of the heart. Okay, hearts are failing, minds are failing, because they're exhausted. Every day is a struggle to just sustain yourself. Okay, and it's only going to wax worse and worse. We just talked about that. Okay, because the evil men are actually running this corporation. Okay, and they're not looking to put more money in women's pockets. They're looking to destroy this whole, or implode this whole place. Okay, but let's watch the video.
I moved into my apartment in June 2023. I was paying $1,790 in rent. I just got notified that March 1st, my rent will be increasing to $2,023. Before everyone gets in the comments and says, you're doing this, you're making your choices. Okay, first of all, fuck you. I'm a 2-bedroom apartment because I have a 1.5-year-old son, and I got this apartment because I researched every apartment within a 30-mile radius of where my dad lives, because my dad lives with my nephew. I'm the legal guardian of my nephew, and I need to be able to have quick, close access to my nephew. I take him to appointments, I pick him up from school, etc. What's shitty is that this is the market rate, so this is pretty standard if you want a 2-bedroom apartment. And mine's nice because it's new, but it's not fancy. It was made really like everything's plastic and falling apart, and for all intents and purposes, it's not a quality apartment. It's safe. I love living here, and that's why I'm living here. So I was talking to my landlord, and I was like, listen, I know this isn't your fault. I know you're not setting the prices of these, but what the fuck? This is not like a sustainable. It's like, how the fuck is anyone supposed to like maintain their tenancy? I said, should I expect another huge rent increase? And he's like, yeah, in September, there's going to be another like $80 to $120 rent increase.
It says, the earth mourneth and faded away. The world languisheth and faded away. The hardy people of the earth do languish. There was a time in which the Shedemite was on top right along with the male Edomite, if you want to even call him a male. They were haughty, they were pompous, they were proud. You're starting to see more and more Beckys, okay, languishing. And from what I could tell, she doesn't have any kids. It's just the fact that there's no head. Okay, there's no righteous man of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. And prophecy, and prophecy shows that this place is done. Okay, it's broke. There's no redemption for this wicked ass place. Okay, this is Jeremiah chapter 51 verse 7. Babylon hath been, not currently, hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad. But Babylon is no longer a golden cup, man. Okay? This place is on the downfall and has been. Okay? But it's been accelerating. Okay?
Increase. And I'm like, so let me get this fucking straight. I had to pay $5,500 to just get into this fucking apartment. I could live in a one bedroom. I don't want to because I just figured out crib training with my son. I pay electric and I pay fucking gas, which is another,
Oh, okay. So she's got a son. Once again, where are the men? See, all of that independent philosophy, that sorcery that was a part of that golden cup, okay, has now spoiled you and had you believe, okay, in a lie.
100 to 120 a month, like on top of that. I hate that the issue is that I'm at a point in my life where paying another $120 a month in rent is like pissing me off. I know that the solution is to just make more money so that this is going to happen and I'm going to have more wiggle room in my budget and blah, blah, blah. But what pisses me off is if you're not making $6,000 or $8,000 as a single mom a month, you're just like, how are you going to make it? Who wants to be roommates with people that they don't know? And how many people do you know that you could trust to live with? And that it would.
Where is your man? I'm gonna read Isaiah 32 again. It says, tremble, verse 11, tremble ye women that are at ease, be troubled. That's exactly what she's experiencing right now. She's troubled. Just like this other chick was troubled. Where's she at? Troubled. Okay? What happened to the degrees? Okay? What happened to the provisions that now you can actually go out and get on your own? Okay? It says, ye careless ones. Okay? It's very careless to think that you're going to be in a society that's built by men and not have one. It's very careless. Strip you and make you bare. Okay? And gird sackcloth upon your loins. You're not going to have on all of this makeup. Hair is going to be all over the place. Yahweh Shem Yahushua is bringing this place low, man. They shall lament, okay, for the teats, for the pleasant fields, for the fruitful vine. All right?
Wouldn't ruin your friendship if you lived with them. And what if I just want to live in my own fucking spot? What if I really like the peace of mind that I have in my own goddamn apartment? Why isn't there some sort of fucking clause that says, oh, you're a single mom with narcolepsy and you have a fucking disability and you're making X amount of money and we're gonna give you like a little bit of a break. And I understand like life is a jungle.
You see that break that these whores used to get is no longer there. Being a single mom, all of that compassion that people used to have for that. No, these are decisions that you've made that you're gonna have to live with now. Okay. Let's see here. Yep, this is Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse. I'm gonna start at verse 1. It says, remember now the Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days, what we're talking about currently that we're in, okay, come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. When the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because they are few. The grinders, talking about the employment, the workers, okay? These jobs, there's not any out there. And they're being removed by AI and automation and all of these other scenarios that Esau has created to where he can just continue to rule without the involvement of people. It says, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. Okay. And the door shall be shut in the streets. When the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. Okay. Ain't nobody singing and dancing and partying and going out and eating and drinking and being merry. No longer. Because great sorrow is upon all of these people, man. Great miseries. Okay. And so when you have all of these scenarios going on, it's just a sign that Babylon is through, man. Okay. The people are broke. The system is broke. Babylon's broke. Okay. The other nations are broke.
And no one's trying to give out handouts. You know, you're hearing about how Elon Musk just uncovered all
the ex-president's battle.
Hey, fucking if you lived with them. And what if I just want to live in my own fucking spot? What if I really like the peace of mind that I have in my own goddamn apartment? Why isn't there some sort of fucking clause that says, oh, you're a single mom with narcolepsy and you have a fucking disability and you're making X amount of money and we're gonna give you like a little bit of a break. And I understand like life is a jungle and no one's trying to give out handouts. You know, you're hearing about how Elon Musk just uncovered all the government all the money that's going everywhere. Like the government isn't in general, they're not looking to help people. We know that. Just keep coming back to like, okay, the solution is just to make more money, but there's only so many fucking hours in the day. I spent 45 minutes today researching other apartments in the area. I've maybe have a tour scheduled next week, but here's the thing, it's like, yeah, if I get into this other apartment, like what is that going to look like and how much do I have to put down? It's usually first and last month's rent, and then there's a damage deposit, and then there's usually a refundable pet deposit on top of that of a couple $100 or and then, you know, like at least, and then
you can just see the pride all over this chick, man.
Monthly pet deposit, and I have 2 cats and I don't want to get rid of my cat.
Oh, you got 2 you got 2 cats, you got a son, you got a $2,000 plus mortgage or rent, okay? And there's no more money out there. There's no more jobs. And this is the new norm. I'm gonna play it again. This is the new norm, man.
Normal in America is broke. 78% of Americans have 2 much month left at the end of the money.
Right, because this place is not built forever, man. Okay, this is a temporal kingdom. So let me just wrap up real quick. This is this is James chapter 5 verse 3. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you. Okay, so when I said this is gold-plated rust, that's what it is, man. Babylon, the idea of Babylon, aka America, the finances, the economy, the markets, all of that is rigged. Okay, this system is not for people. The system has been built for the elite. Okay, so the allure of that cup is gold, but what's in it is poison, or the ideas and the thought processes of evil men. Okay, Esau, the so-called white man. And not only that, it's rusting. Okay, it's depleting. So the gold that once used to be so shimmery and shiny and make America great again, none of that is going to happen. This place will become a third world country, and Babylon will be destroyed. Okay. It says, your gold and silver, this is back in James 5 and 3, your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire, catching hell.
That you could trust to live with, and that it wouldn't ruin your friendship if you lived with them. And what if I just want to live in my own fucking spot? What if I really like the peace of mind that I have in my own goddamn apartment? Why isn't there some sort of fucking clause that says, oh, you're a single mom with narcolepsy and you have a fucking disability and you're making X amount of money and we're gonna give you like a little bit of a break? And I understand like life is a jungle and no one's trying to give out handouts. You know, you're hearing about how Elon Musk just uncovered all the government all the money that's going everywhere. Like the government isn't, in general, they're not looking to help people. We know this. Just keep coming back to like, okay, the solution is just to make more money, but there's only so many fucking hours in the day. I spent 45 minutes today researching other apartments in the area. I maybe have a tour scheduled next week, but here's the thing. It's like, yeah, if I get into this other apartment, like what is that going to look like and how much do I have to put down? It's usually first and last month's rent, and then there's a damage deposit, and then there's usually a refundable pet deposit on top of that of a couple $100 or and then, you know, like at least, and then a monthly pet deposit. And I have 2 cats and I don't want to get rid of my cat. I'm not making this video to be like, oh, poor me, like blah, blah, but where my brain goes is I zoom out and I think about the bigger picture and I think about like the regular people who are just trying to fucking survive and like the average income and like what it costs to just literally survive. That's not like getting ahead. That's not saving money. That's not potentially owning a piece of property. That's literally just like I'm making it until the next month. Was there like 800,000 homeless people in the US? And when you think about like a homeless person, your mind might go to like all these extremes, but it's like, no, people become homeless because there's factors that are outside of their control and they're doing their fucking best and they get up every day and they have good intentions and they work and they're not like selling themselves on OnlyFans. And they're
Not yet. Okay? Because that's the next step. So let's wrap up. This says, your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Okay? You ever put your hand on a hot stove? That's exactly what Babylonians are feeling right now. This shit is hot and it's eating that flesh up. All of that pride that you once had, no longer available. Ye have heaped treasures together for the last days, you know. So one more and then we'll wrap up. This is Isaiah chapter 33 verse 1. It says, woe to thee that spoilest, and thou was not spoiled, and dealt treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. And when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. Okay, and that's what's happening. Okay, Babylon used to spoil all these countries. Now Yahweh Shem Yahushua is spoiling you. Okay, it's making you bare. All right, and now Yahweh Shem Yahushua is going to deal with you Babylonians treacherously. Okay, because you dealt treacherously with the children of Israel. Okay, so just wanted to go into that real quick. Just a sign of where we are in prophecy, man. These last days, things are going to continue to ramp up. You know, people are still going to lose their minds on a daily basis, you know, so be circumspect and keep the faith. Until next time, Shalom.